Hey guys, I wanted to hop on here for a more casual video. Um, Not something that is related directly to a specific team. Just kind of more of a broad overview of the status of the channel, my life, and so on and so forth. What I want to do is just kind of give you guys an update on everything that's going on um, around. All right. So the thing that really mainly sparked this was me like just a few hours ago rewatching the I Still Own You video, the I Still Own You reaction. Um, that was definitely a time in my life, and it's the only video that really still does numbers to this day. Um, and it's just rewatching it made me realize why. Because man, did I let loose on I let everyone hear it. I let everyone really hear how I felt in that moment. And that video was a big turning point in this channel and a big turning point just in general. Because there's a little thing called views. That video absolutely blew up. Actually, I'm going to pull up my analytics page right here because I do have a couple notes I want to make. Just in general on videos. So, I've asked myself this several times over the past couple of years. Why does that video continue just raking views? It doesn't matter. It continues to perform well. And the answer for that is the video itself. Like, if you go back and watch even the first 20 seconds, you realize that it's not like anything else on this channel. It is 15 minutes of unhinged rage and just deep seething frustration lashed out and then posted for the public to see. Just looking at my top content in the past 28 days, so minus this, well, including the video I put up yesterday, which that's the big reason why that thing's not doing fantastic, or as well as it could be doing, because I uploaded on Thursday instead of Sunday after the game. But I Still Own Your reaction is still number one, and the average view duration is still 3 minutes. If that video does not exist on this channel, I also just recently looked at it. So I have about, I have about like 280 subscribers right now. Over 100 of those subscribers came from that video alone, which is ridiculous. But it kind of shows you the audience I've built up and the viewer base that I've built up. Not people who want to watch it for me. People who want to watch it because they want to see me, lose my mind. And that's why I'm pretty much outside of that video. And then the other Packers video from that season blew up as well. Mainly because everyone was thinking it was going to be the exact same as the first one. But that one was still... It was not as bad. It was 20 minutes... And I recently looked at it, like the viewer retention. Let's take a look, like viewer retention for the I Still Own You reaction. Half the audience is still there in the first minute. I still have a third of the audience 3 minutes into the video. So a third of all of the views. The average percentage of the video that's viewed is almost about a quarter of the video. The second one, the game in Lambeau that year, where we were leading at half and Matt Nagy was having fun at, I'm down to a third and not even at 2 minutes. I don't even have a half of the people who have watched that video stay for even a minute. Yeah. God forbid they watched the whole 22-minute video. I mean, I'm honestly surprised 5% even made it that far. Which, if you did watch that full video, thank you. I really appreciate if you have watched those, not only those videos, but watched my content from front to back and genuinely enjoy it. I really appreciate it. That is, I really appreciate that. That is really nice of you all. But you go to the rest, the next, like, those two videos have 10 times the views as any other video on this channel. 10 times. The next closest video is over 2,000 views. And that was the game after the I Still Own You game, the game where they went to Tampa and got absolutely brutally murdered by Tom Brady. That was not fun. But, like, the difference between the one before and that one, I also recorded that video in the middle of the game, I believe, if I remember correctly. But that one was more like just me sitting in here and just being depressed rather than me screaming my head off and blowing up. I don't think I've truly, like, blown up in a football reaction video since the I Still Own You game. I mean, and it's like, sometimes I wonder why, like, I've had my fair share of just absolute just explosions on camera, not in the I Still Own You game. And some of them I genuinely don't know how they still have under 10 views. Like, if I hang on it. So I have, so what was the original? So let's say 30. I have at least 30 videos with over 100 views. I only have, let's see here. So those are the only 3 videos that have over 2,000 views on this channel. The next one is almost at 2,000, and that was the first Bears-Packers reaction video I ever did. One of the few videos I did with my brother, who is a big Bears fan as well. Those videos are fun to do, mainly because we get a chance to really kind of express our feelings together. But that one's got almost 2,000 views. And those views are all from the lasting effects of the I Still Own You reaction, and just everyone checking out the channel and be like, oh look, there are more of these. Let's go laugh at them some more. So that's why that one got, like, it's funny because the same deal with the other Packers reactions from that season, the one from week 17 that year, that they lost at home, but still got into playoffs because Arizona couldn't beat LA. That one's just crossed over 1,000 views. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos on the channel has gone over 1,000 views. 8, and that's it. Let's see. And 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are Packer reactions. I'm honestly surprised it's not more. 5. Another one is the Tampa Bay one. Another one is the rant I had against Cleveland, which that one was just hard to go through. I was just really pissed because of how terrible the offensive line was and how just terrible the team looked. And then I'm honestly surprised this one got up over 1,000, but the one where the Bears lost to the Ravens against Tyler Huntley, that one got over 1,000 views for some reason. And then, of course, the live reaction to the Bears losing to the Vikings last season. And so that one I separated. Like, I've had a couple where I've thrown in some reactions before the start of the reaction video, but I felt that one had enough to go in. I've only had 2 of, like, those videos. The other one being the Steelers live reaction, which that one is fun to rewatch, mainly because you can just see and that one's fun to watch mainly because it's just telling you, it's basically capturing the insanity and the ref ball that was that game. God, that was a terrible game. I actually have it. Hang on. So, you guys are going to love this. So, let me pull this out here. Where'd it go? It was here somewhere. All right, so. Also, what's up, guys? How you doing? Hey, Junior. It's good to see you. I don't think I've shown you this, but So after the Steelers reaction, I lost my mind. That was a Monday night. I lost my mind during the game, and then I lost my mind during the reaction. So basically, was screaming my head off for the last 30 minutes of the game, and scream my head off for another 30 minutes after that for the reaction video. And I got this on the front door of my apartment. I wasn't up when it was there. My roommates took it off the front of the door and put it on the table. There's the first ever appearance of a cuss word on this channel. I got this the next day. So the people next door were not happy with me yelling and screaming my head off. If I did that on a Sunday morning, I know, it was genuine hate mail. It was genuine hate mail. But, if it wasn't a Monday night, if it was a Sunday morning game, that probably wouldn't have been an issue because they would have been out and they would have been partying or whatever. So it was a Monday night. I'm guessing the person who was, in the apartment next door was doing some work and trying to get some work done. Whatever. I still have it because it's just funny to look at now. That season was a bit of a roller coaster because I hadn't really experienced, that type of hate before. I had gotten made fun of for being a Bears fan when I was in middle school, and that was just people trying to get under my skin because they knew that's how that would piss me off. You'd be like, ha, Bears suck, guys. Go, Pat, go. Guys, that's so funny. Look at him get all mad. And when I was in middle school, I was it's you're 12 to 14. I'm still developing, and I didn't know any better, so I let them hear it all the time. So I didn't know any better, and I had a really genuine hard time not giving them the reaction that they wanted. So that was hard, but once I kind of figured that out, you guys thought I raged a bunch in the I Still Own You game. That was just my voice. I several times when I was in high school, or mainly middle school, because that was when I first was getting into the team. But in high school, God, the first couple of years I was following this team, every game, I was just getting so pissed off all the time. I was storming off to my room, screaming my head off. That was me in middle school and high school. So once we had 2018, that was kind of the moment where I didn't, scream my head off after we had the double doink. I remember me and my brother after it happened. I just sat down. I just was on my knees and I couldn't believe it. We went outside, we sat on the curb, and we just sat there and just moped and, just were a total just emotional, meltdown. I don't think we really had any, tears, but we were just so pissed off, and we brought our football out, and we just were, taking out our frustrations by talking to each other and just throwing it. So when he became part of, the way I coped with things, that made things better. So it took me a minute to kind of recover when I was in for my first year in college here. But I haven't had the same type of reaction during a Packers game since the I Still Own You game. The only time I'd ever gotten genuinely that upset since was the home game against Green Bay last year, when Justin Fields ran for the 55-yard touchdown, threw two 50-yard bombs. And then Christian Watson went into the end zone and did his little thing, and that was it. I lost it mainly because I was so just I was straight fuming because I didn't want to lose the all-time wins record against Green Bay. The NFL scheduled that week 2 game to be the moment when the Packers would overtake us. That's the conspiracy theory I've told myself. But after that wasn't happening, I was just great. Now it'll happen after week 7, week 8, because I knew it was going to happen. But then when the Packers started to stink, oh my God, there's something in my eye. And then we got close to that game, I was so pissed. But it was mainly because of the record, not because of the game, because I kind of was expecting it to. So this one I was just more frustrated and just sad. And I was not necessarily frustrated at the Packers. I was more frustrated at this fan base because a lot of Bears fans had just really been pissing me off all season because they were just like, Justin Fields is going to be so amazing. He's going to mop the floor with the Packers week 1. He's so good. I'm like, bro, you guys are... We went 3-14 last year. You guys have no room to talk. Like, they talked so much for being the worst team in the league last year. So, that's why I was really pissed. It's like we had done nothing to warrant the amount of talk that we had before going into that game. There was nothing. We hadn't even won a game against Green Bay. We hadn't won a single game that year. This year, we hadn't won anything. So that's why I kind of ripped in the Bears fans in the reaction video because I was just so pissed off at them, and that was the main reason why I was pissed off with the game because I'm like, great, now you're giving more fuel to the fire for the fan base that has won 9 straight against you because you decided to talk all of this thing. Yeah, we do it. It's just, it sucks our fan base thinks like we won the Super Bowl. Like, also, here's just a random cheap shot. Packers beating the Bears really is their Super Bowl because they've been choking in January anyways. Sorry, not sorry. I try to not, do that type of stuff, but like, it's just, it's whatever. But like, so thinking about like, and frankly, the last 3 Packers reaction videos, I intentionally made it a point of emphasis not to just yell and scream my head off and think about it from a logical perspective. Because that's how the way I wanted to go about it, because I just didn't want to just go in and just scream my head off. That just, to me, just wasn't the way I wanted to conduct myself anymore. Jay Cutler, I know a lot of people not in this city, I don't live in Chicago, but I know a lot of people in Chicago hate Jay Cutler. Dude, you have no idea. He's the best quarterback we've ever had. Statistically. Obviously not necessarily, by, what they've done because, we won all those championships with like Sid Luckman and those older quarterbacks with House as the coach, but like I didn't have like my biggest problem with Jay Cutler was his leadership problems. He just had problems with leadership, which kind of like ties me into like I think part of the reason why there was, if you guys watched the video, there was a ton of extra like little text things like that popped up like right over here, because there were a lot of things that I was thinking about and just seeing on the socials over the couple days before I really started editing it. Which that's all my fault. There's the reason why the video is not performing super well. But it kind of was like, yeah, Justin and DJ Moore both sitting on the bench pouting in the middle of the third quarter, down 17 points. They're not rallying the troops, not saying like, hey, this game's not over, we can come back. Come on, guys, we can do it. They're just So they need to be better leaders in that aspect. And that was and once I thought about it like that, I was like, yeah, that's not being a great leader. And they're both captains, I think. So, yeah. Roshan, well, see, my brother has been really focused on this team. Like, the thing that differentiates between me and my brother really is the way that, my brother really focuses on the Bears a ton. And then when it comes to league-wide prospect and league-wide, like, viewing, basically goes through the lens of fantasy football. So, he was like really on top of the draft this year. So he knew a lot about like the rookies and whatnot. He was telling me how much he liked Stevenson in the first preseason game, which I liked him as well. But the warning signs were there in those second 2 games, and he got burnt in this last game. But that's what happens with rookie corners. Most rookie corners really just get burnt because they got to get used to the game. Like we saw, Kyler Gordon and Jaquan Brisker were not good for the first couple of weeks. They were not good. They found their stride a little bit later in the year, but like, that's why I'm hoping they can make another step because the secondary is super young, so they're very unexperienced. But Roshan Johnson was someone my brother was like super high on. He really loved him, and he's great. He's got a really angry running style. Anyways, moving on. I'm trying to go more to what I wanted to talk about through here, which was just kind of life and stuff real quick, just to answer your question. Do you think we'll bounce back? I think we can. and my brother actually just told me that Alan Williams is not traveling to Tampa, so our defense coordinator is not going to be there. Eberflus is going to be calling those plays, so I think that's definitely going to be something I'm going to be keeping an eye out for, to see how the defense plays with Flus and whatnot. But I think the secondary is going to be really tested because, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, those are two huge things that they got to worry about. And this is a good opportunity to really try and get some confidence on the run defense side of things because, as I mentioned in the reaction video yesterday, that came out yesterday specifically, how the Packers adjusted, and once they started using Aaron Jones, it was over. He got him the lead, and that's why they were able to stay in front. Jordan Love didn't need to do a ton. He did what he needed to do, but Aaron Jones really was the way that they got in front in the game. But yeah, anyways, so I've thought about it many times about why none of my videos perform outside of Packer videos, really. And it's because all my subscribers, most of my subscribers are Packer fans who are just like, guys, I want to see this guy absolutely lose his mind. And that's the life of someone who does like a lot of sports reaction type stuff. Rival fans of the team that they were playing against, seeing the losing fans' reaction. People love that stuff. And so I get it. I understand. I really only I remember I used to watch Steve Dangle all the time. If those in the hockey community are familiar with Steve Dangle, I don't know the last time I watched like most of his stuff, honestly. I really don't. I don't really do too much, but like I remember just seeing when they lost to the emergency goalie. It's one of the greatest sports rants of all time. I love that video. I love rewatching that video because he lost his mind. And it's not super long and drawn out. It's only like 6 minutes. So I honestly, if you guys want some good rage content for sports fans, go look it up. It's just look up Steve Dangle. Steve Dangle Zamboni driver, because the goalie that beat him, because the team they were playing, that both of their like goaltenders in the game, they got hurt. So in hockey, then you have to go to emergency goaltender, and this goaltender was a Zamboni driver for their minor league affiliate team, and then it beat them. So yeah. Anyways, but that's the reason why these videos, like all the top videos are losses. All the top videos are losses. Hang on, let me see. What's the highest? The most viewed video of any sort of like W is the draft review from when we got Fields, which has a little over almost 550 views. The most views for a straight up win, a reaction with a win, was the Bears-Raiders game 2 years ago, which got over 300 views. So I have not gotten over 320 views on a win reaction video. Steve Dangle is not a Bears fan. He's a Leafs fan, which is exactly why he gets so much, stuff, because no one likes Toronto. Everyone hates Leaf fans. But Crisis, I'm being serious. Like, if you've genuinely thought my stuff has been the funniest stuff you've ever seen, it pales in comparison to that video. I'm being genuine. Like, it is worth like the 6-7 minutes. How long it is? How long it is? I can't go for too much longer. I do have to leave, and I do have to go do some stuff for my university. I play in the band, so I got to go to rehearsal in like 20 minutes. So, yeah. Steve Dangle's driver. Let's see. Yeah, that's got over 1 million views. It was 3 years ago. It's 6.5 videos. He's been in the process of a midlife crisis. Exactly. I really am excited for Bedard and Taylor Hall, which kind of brings me... That's a good segue. This is a good segue into hockey stuff. If you guys want, like, there are some good videos from, like, the first, like, year or two that I did. Well, I've only done 2 years at the Hawks. But there are some good, like, real rage videos for my hockey content. Like, I'm being serious. There are some really good ones that honestly surprised don't have more views. Like some of these videos, I'm genuinely don't even have more than 10 views. It's wild. Yeah, and most of them are from my first season of doing the Hawk stuff. Let's see. Just if you want to look at the very first season I did this, I did the Hawks. Look at pretty much most of those games against Nashville. I hated Nashville during that year. They were so annoying because we played them 8 times and won once. I was so pissed. But like the one from not this past 2 years ago, really technically, would be the one against the Sabres, the home game against the Sabres. Oh, you've seen them, diehard Bears fan? Oh, come on! Oh my gosh. The one before, the one that they won. Oh my god, I let loose. Like, I genuinely don't know how I didn't get evicted from my dorm room or something like that because I was yelling so much that year. Oh my gosh, I'm so surprised how the people in that dorm even like tolerated it and didn't burst it, kick the door in and just yell and tell me to get out. Because I always did the reactions when my roommate was gone, so he didn't have to worry about that. But yeah, but like the Hawks videos have done nothing on this channel. They have done nothing. The most viewed hockey video on this channel was the very first one from the one that I went to Denver for. That doesn't even have 100 views. So they saw the news and said the team will make him suffer. And I raged when he blew the 3-0 lead. Oh yeah, no, that Hawks are just not a good team. But the thing is, I love hockey. I'm still watching the Stanley Cup playoffs all the time, and it makes me just frustrated because I haven't seen my own team in the playoffs for like 5 years now. I'm glad that 2020 happened because we got to see like some playoff action, but like they really haven't made the playoffs in 6 years. The last time they got swept by the Preds, which is God. But you know, it's like I would love to see them get back there, and I'm so excited for Bedard. But anyone who thinks that they're going to make a push for the playoffs this year is no. The expectation should be they're going to suck again. Really. So, you know, that's kind of how I feel about it. But, like, I'd like to do the Hawks again. But here's where, like, the main reason why I wanted to do this. The reason I'm, like, kind of wanting to do the Hawks this year is because, you know, Bedard specifically. I didn't do him last year because I know the team was going to stink. So I was just like, dude, I'm not putting myself through the pain of having to make 82 videos on this team. This team's going to be garbage. They're going to be hot garbage. And they were. They were, like, literally, I think, 1 point off from the worst team in the year. We should have won Game 5 versus Vegas. We don't let that lay out. We should have won more than one game against Vegas. I'm glad we did win one game. Corey Crawford went out with a big hurrah. That he was a god in those playoffs, even though the team around him was not good. Single-handedly kept us in a couple of those games. But the reason why I'm not doing I wouldn't do, if I was going to do the Hawks again this year, I probably would maybe just make separate videos for like the first couple games. And if I went to a game to kind of be like, here's a vlog, if you will, right? But the reason I probably do like a bi-weekly thing, like give an update, kind of like just, you know, talk through the games, like, oh, this is they played these like 6 games these 2 weeks, and now let's talk about the first one. Oh, they really sucked in this one. I don't need to talk about it too much. They were terrible. You know, give it like a minute and a half. If the game was really good and they like won in overtime, I might spend a little more time, right? Yeah, we have 5 road games to start the season. It's ridiculous. We start with the Pens. I know we start with the Pens. I think we have the Bruins on a back-to-back. It's the Penguins and Bruins on a back-to-back. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely brutal. Hang on, I've got the schedule. I can pull it up here real quick. So there's that. I know that the Hawks are playing in the Avalanche's home opener for like the third year in a row. And I might actually want to go to that game, depending on the day it is. But yeah, so Pittsburgh on the road, Boston on the road. That's a back-to-back. And then Montreal on the road, Toronto on the road, and then they have to go to Denver to play the Avalanche. And then they get their first two home games. Their first home game is against the reigning Stanley Cup champs and the Golden Knights. And then they have Boston again. And then Vegas again. Like, it's a brutal start to the year. It is a really brutal start to the year. And they're not going to win a lot of games. They're just not going to win a lot of games. They'll play Vegas like those two games like in a week, and then they won't play them until April. So it's like cool. I'm just hoping that they can be better than they were last year, or they suck again and then win the draft lottery again. But that's not going to happen. We don't. Or actually, no. Wait, we have Taylor Hall on our team. We have Taylor Hall. We can win the draft lottery now. Taylor Hall is good for winning draft lotteries. Keep him on the team. And then suck, and then win the draft lottery again. Get the first overall pick there. Get that guy, and then you can think about winning next year. I don't know. Anyways, so I probably would do for example, let's say, okay, I want to do the first I'll probably do let's do the first 7-8 games. Right, so I get the 5-game road trip and then the first 2 home games. Let's say, right, and then from then on out, and then find a nice starting point. Okay, we'll find the nearest Sunday, and then 2 Sundays after that, I pull out a video and be like, okay, they had 6 games here against the Knights and the Coyotes, Panthers, Devils, Lightning, and the Panthers again. Okay, let's go through all of them, right? So that's probably the plan that I have in mind if I was going to do the Hawks this year, which I'd like to. But, I say this mainly because I have a lot of stuff to do for school. Not necessarily for my classes. My classes is not my top priority. Obviously, I got to do the assignments and do this stuff, right? But, I'm in the band, so I'm doing, rehearsal 3 days a week. And this week's a game week, so we have we're doing only an hour rehearsal, but then we got a performance this evening, and then we have the game tomorrow. So it's I'm doing stuff all weekend, and then of course watching the Bears this week. Put up the reaction video. It's really easy to do stuff for the Bears because they're only once a week. But I'm also in a sports media club here on campus. And I have not really talked at any extent about my life, really, with you guys. I really haven't done too much with it. But, yeah, I want to get into the sports media. I'm genuinely trying to get into sports media. And that's part of the reason why my reactions have died down in terms of, the heat exuding from my overall... that's why I'm kind of taking things more logical. It's also why I don't cuss on this channel. I'm not trying to, oh, you got any social media presence? Oh yeah, here's my YouTube channel where I, react to Chicago sports games, and it'd be and then it's just a bunch of bleeps, all the way through. That's a big reason why I do it. And I also just try to keep doing that when I'm on camera in the first place, because if I'm trying to get in the sports media, if I'm trying to be on camera, I gotta have a good filter. I've got to do a really good job at filtering my language. And so that's exactly what I've been practicing for years now. Just even in just simple, calls with friends, we're just going to record a video or whatever. Okay, cool. I'll just, all that just... Do my studies correlate with sports media? Yes. I am a communication major, mainly because it's more broad than journalism. And I'm not trying to get into writing. And then sports media is my minor, so I'm taking a bunch of sports classes. Right now, I'm in sports broadcasting, and that's a super fun class. And let's see, your least favorite team that I used to hate is the Minnesota Wild. See, I never had major animosity against the Wild because we never had a big playoff meltdown against them. We never I never had a big problem with Minnesota. I had an issue with the Blues. Of course, the Red Wings, but my hate with the Red Wings is more of a historical thing. And the fact that we're not in the same conference really hurts it. If certain realignment happens, like, if the Coyotes move to Atlanta, or if the Coyotes move to, like, Quebec, and they have to move a team from the East back to the West, I hope they pick Detroit, not Columbus. I hope they pick Detroit, not Columbus, because then now Detroit gets to reignite their rivalry with us, and now I get to hate the Red Wings again. But the Blues have picked the top spot, and then I hate the Preds because since I've started really following the Hawks, the Preds have, like, basically crushed my soul. So there's that. Don't you want to be a commentator? I heard you talk about commentating in the past, so I hope you get in the sports community. Or who's your favorite NFL announcer? So yes, I do want to be a play-by-play commentator. That is the ultimate end goal. I'd love to do NFL stuff in football, college football even, but the problem with football is that it's really hard to practice and get opportunities to do it because every football game is, like, nationally televised in a sense, and it's hard to kind of break in on that scene. But I know, I'm so sad. It's so funny because now that Kane's gone, if DeBrincat was staying, my next Hawks jersey was going to be a DeBrincat jersey. My next Hawks jersey was going to be a DeBrincat jersey, hand down. Oh, I'm so sad that he's in Detroit. But he's home. He's from Detroit, so I don't have any animosity towards him. I still love Alex DeBrincat. I just hate that he's in Detroit. That happened for a couple of guys from, like, that COVID season, like Pius Suter. He was in Detroit. I don't know if he's still there, but, like, Dominic Kubalik, I think, is still there. Like, a bunch of guys that I thought I had pretty high hopes on is now just playing in Detroit. But anyways, back to, like, my favorite NFL announcer. It's a bit hard to say. There's a lot that I like. I really like Kevin Burkhardt. I think he was a great pick to become the new top guy after Joe Buck left. I really like Joe Davis. I think he's great at football, but I really do like his baseball commentary. He's a guy I feel like it's like he's one of those guys that just has that voice that you just like, yeah, I know this is a big game. And then I really like Jim Nantz is good. Obviously he's getting older, so, like, same thing with, like, Al Michaels. I really like Al Michaels, but last year with his Thursday night schedule, oh my gosh, he was out of it. He was out of it. It was hard to watch. But I really like Ian Eagle. He's great. Kevin Harlan's fantastic, mainly because he knows how to keep it. He knows how to keep excitement up, and he knows, like, he can identify, like, certain great plays. He's good at what he does. As for, like, the commentator that really wanted me to do this, like, professionally is Doc Emrick. So all hockey fans know who Doc Emrick is. My favorite commentator, hands down. Oh my gosh. The way that guy was able to use the wide variety of vocabulary that he did, and, like, he's got some great vocabulary, and hockey is a fast sport to call. That is a fast sport. And so I'm just super happy for him. And I love that he just got a great voice. And he knows how to tell a story, and that's great and all, but he gets excited when he does and when he needs to be. He's not, like, overly excited. Like, to me, like, I feel like his passion for the game is just unmet. Yeah, he's the GOAT. He is. And he was called Doc Emrick because he did get a doctorate in communication, I believe. I think that's why he got the whole title Doc, specifically. But, like, to me, he's the perfect announcer because he doesn't... He's able to get excited when he needs to be, like when a goal happens or a big save, or, it's the last 3 minutes of a 1-goal game in a playoff game. He knows how to play up the situation and get you invested. But he also knows how to lay low a little bit and how to have a conversation. He knows that the dynamics of a game and the way, because he can kind of do something like this and just kind of talk to you from the broadcast booth, but also get excited and show his raw passion for the game. That's what makes him amazing. And that's what makes him stand out from someone who just... I know, it sucks that he's done calling games, but you could hear it in 2020. He was starting to lose his voice a little bit. And it's a shame, but, sometimes it's just how life is. But, that's what makes Doc stand out from some of the commentators out there that really only like basically will just lose their mind over pretty much anything. Like I know a lot, like a general consensus of one of the best commentators of all time is Eric Collins, aka Hornets announcer guy, right? Everyone loves him because he just is basically a fan calling the game, and I respect that, and I get that. But like, good Lord. Your job's to call the game, not just scream every time there's a dunk. Like, sorry, bro. That's kind of how I go about it. I'm like, I just don't want to be like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Should not have done that. You know, I don't want to just sit around and scream that at the top of my lungs all day long. I want to be able to, you know, talk about like, oh, what a play, right? But you know, like, yeah, you gotta let that go, right? You're in the band at your school, you play trumpet. I play tenor saxophone. I play sax. So yeah. I play sax. But like, yeah, like, so, like, I understand why people like him, but, you know, I put him above a lot of guys, but I wouldn't put him above some of the greats. I wouldn't say he's the greatest of all time. Let's see, where was I going with this? Yeah, but like that stuff. So I've been actually practicing my hockey commentary for my school's hockey teams, because my school doesn't have a D1 hockey team. We have club hockey teams that we broadcast games for, and I commentate over those. And that's been my practice. I did that last year, and that was a big reason why I didn't do the Hawks reactions, because I was really so focused on just doing those. And so, you know, I'm just doing those now. And our first games are like next week, so we're trying to do a lot to set up a lot of this stuff. So it's just very chaotic at school right now because of all this. There's so much going on. I go to Colorado. I'm at the University of Colorado. Of course, with all the Deion Sanders, you know, stuff, it's so hard to really go on anywhere on campus and kind of just. The campus doesn't have a day off. It's just off the walls every day. So it's just been a bit difficult to kind of get things started. But once we get things going after our first games next week, we should be fine. And once we get into the swing of things, we're going to be fine. But that is taking a lot of my time in practicing and, of course, doing all the research, covering all that. So that's taking a lot of my time. And yeah, I mean, so that's kind of how things are. So I just kind of wanted to do this stream because I wanted to. I was talking to myself after rewatching those videos, some of the older videos, and just talking to myself. But like, I don't know. I am just really looking forward to this season and this whole year as a whole. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be doing a podcast. Like, I'm doing a ton of stuff. I'm doing a lot of content, building up a professional portfolio. I'm really just... I'm not saying this channel's taking a backseat, but in a way, it's not my top priority, right? Especially if nothing's going to, if nothing's going to perform well when I'm just... But, like, I'm not concerned about the views. Like, of course, I'm, like, a little kind of salty, right? Yeah, I'll see you for the reaction this Sunday. But like, yeah, it's like I'm not doing it for the people. Necessarily for the people. I'm not doing it to get a reaction out of people to be like, ha, look at this guy, he's so mad. Look at this guy, he's so mad. Let's make fun of him. He's so mad. Take your medication, kid. Like I'm not trying to the reason why I'm still doing these because I like talking about it. And sports is basically the biggest passion that I have. So, like, I just need an outlet. So I post videos online for others to watch if they want to. Like, if you like the videos and you like watching me and hearing my analysis of a Bears game or a Hawks game, great. I love that. I think I might honestly, if the Cubs are able to push through and really get into the postseason, I might do a Cubs reaction for the wild card series that they'll be in. If they win the division, actually, the Dodgers and the Braves are going to have both the buys there, so they wouldn't have to do that. But You get my point. I'm doing it for fun. I'm not doing it for, I'm not trying to make this specifically my career. So, it's just, that's kind of how I feel about it. And it's like, I'm just going to say what I want. I don't, care what people say anymore. Like, I mentioned it early in the stream. Like, some of those early first comments on the I Still Own You game really got to me because it was the first time any video on my channel had gotten, even 300 views. Like, because I uploaded all the first season, I uploaded those all on the same day. I didn't edit any of them. I recorded them all after the games, but I didn't upload them until one day after the entire season was over. But so it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I know. I'd like to do some live streams like this. I like this. This is fun. And it's great because I don't have to edit it. That's the main reason why some of these uploads come late, because I'm too lazy to edit, and that's on me. So, it's just, I just do it for fun. I don't, do it specifically for one thing or another. I'm doing it just to this is my outlet for Chicago. And of course I do a ton of coverage for my university, so I do a bunch of sports stuff. But that's what I want to do with my life, so, right? So, I don't know. I gotta get out of here real quick. I like those videos because you're telling the truth. Most fans are afraid to admit the kinds of things you're saying. Fair enough. There's a degree of foolish optimism certain sports fans have, and trust me, I am so sick and tired of the sports fans that just look through past glaring issues or just only look at the issues and don't look at the positives. Every game, every team has positives, has strengths and weaknesses. Not just all good and bad. And that's the big reason why I defend Fields. Most people will defend Fields because they think he's a generational quarterback. I mainly am defending Fields because I think that the team around him is just not good. Yeah, he's 5-22 as a starter, but how many of those losses are solely on him, or how many of those losses can you really blame on the defense? How many of the 22 losses that Fields has had do you blame solely on him? Maybe a couple. So there's a lot of arguments that I can make from one thing or another. But yeah, so I don't know. Thanks guys for sticking around. This might be a bad opinion, but I think Adam Amin is just horrible. I don't mind him. I like him. I also he's someone I follow more so than care for his commentary. I like him. I like him. Also, can I mention Kenny Albert's a big inspiration for me too, because he does multiple sports. Drops some good passing plays for Fields. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I put the graphic in there in the reaction video mainly because I was like, look, bro had 3-4 passes that were more than 10 yards, and the 2 longest passes he throws were both completions. The longest pass was a touchdown. So, throw the frickin' ball. I like following Adam Amin mainly because it's kind of giving me an inside look on what the life of a commentator is in that way. And kind of more just how he prepares and kind of just looking about that side of things. I'm a sophomore in college right now. Oh, you're at Texas A&M. Nice. Yeah, we played 2 years ago. I was at the game in Denver. I was really sad after that game. Really sad. But anyways, thanks guys. We can talk soon. I'd love to do more of these. Maybe do some watch parties for a Sunday night game or a Monday night game if I feel like it. Or maybe watch a Hawks game together. I don't know. I'll figure things out. I can send out community posts and get your guys' opinions and takes on things. Thanks guys for sticking around. I really appreciate if you guys actually enjoy my content. That's amazing. Thanks guys. I gotta get out of here. You have a good one, all right?